said, quote, "We were conditioned by Paul from day one at training camp." Can you go into that a little bit, please?
Well, we had hard camp. And that for me was almost the first tell of the year, right from how hard they pushed themselves in the fitness testing. So I don't know, you bring 50 guys to camp, you know you're going to cut to 23. There's 12 guys on that team that actually don't have to go as hard as they can in fitness testing because they're on the team and they're fit guys and they'll put up good numbers, but they don't have to go hard, and they went hard. And then we pushed them hard. So, and it was, I think, based on feedback, kind of new for them, right? A new level. But I think I was sitting there, like, confidence is earned. So when you get through that, and they did, and they pushed hard. It wasn't. At some point, it's not really the coach pushing; it's how hard are they willing to push themselves, right? I mean, I can't yell louder. They pushed themselves hard, so they took a little confidence from that they could endure, which was kind of a theme for what we were doing.
Over here on the left. There's no
Just on that point with Sasha and his conditioning level, how much does he kind of set the tone for the whole group in terms of his fitness level? I know you raved about it prior rounds.
So he does, for sure. But there are other people too, right? It can't be one fit guy. So it's kind of there's all, with every team that's left, there's a bunch of great stories and behind stories. And like Patrick Hornquist is a great story here for us. He is a hard driving fit man. He would be very similar to Carolina, to Roddy Brindamore. He's in that gym, and he is, and now it's over for him, but he stayed, and when we have injured players, in a lot of ways, he skates them, he drives them. You got to keep up to Patrick if you think you're ready to play, which is no easy task. So we have, as much as you have to have your leaders do it for sure, but followers isn't the right one, but guys that are not maybe uniquely physically gifted like Sasha is, you need those guys too, and we got a whole bunch of those guys doing it.
Talked a lot this year about how fit Brandon Montour is, but 57 minutes, I think he skated more than 8 miles, they said.
Yeah.
How ridiculous was that?
No, when he came back to the bench,
He was fast still.
like he comes back to the bench and he's fine. Like there are unique players, right? That and some of them have a fitness level, and some of it is they're just different, right? There are guys that can go nonstop, and we back to that training camp. At day 3, I had bent him over pretty good at that point, and there were a lot of guys sore and hurting, and he's flying around like, well, you want to go 2? Go 2 today? Like his recovery's incredible.
Now, going back to regulation, I guess, that Barkov line was really, really, especially in the first 2 periods, was really, really good.
Yeah.
Just talked a lot about their defense last series, but their offense was...
Yeah, I thought quietly, and I understand because the Bennett line was through 9 games, they were just dominant. And then I thought quietly the Barkov line has kind of ascended to being difficult to play against at both ends of the rink. The back check on Montour fell down on a chance to the net. They get a 2-on-1 coming the other way early in the game, and Barkey tracks that puck down. So his ability in middle ice to be a centerman and have a really good player is also Selke winner. That helps those 2 guys for sure.
On the right side, second row.
Oh, I guess if you were going into one overtime, you might show film or say, hey, let's look for this or that. But as you go further and further, how do you sort of, as a coach, adjust your message from maybe strategic to just hang in there, guys, the longer it goes?
When we were laughing, we were running out of things to go into the room and say. What do we say now? They've heard everything. Even from, like you said, like the video of the game, I think it hits a breaking point where both teams are in somewhat of a survival mode in that they're kind of waiting for a break. It's not that they're not playing hard, but there were a lot of pucks deep. There were a lot of simple plays and then line change. So what happens in 5 through 8 period probably won't look like the next game. It'll be, if you're going to cut video, you'll do it on the first 4 periods.
On the left side, third row.
Bobrovsky was spectacular last night, but do you have any concerns about his ability to recover? Do you consider rotating him out, given the short turnaround?
No, I have no concerns on either. So he's another unique guy that we have. And his routine today will be full. He's got a routine that he sticks to. And not that's not a statement about Alex Land at all, but it's that it's not the number one rule in coaching, but 2 or 3 is do no harm. I'm not taking him out of the net.
Yeah, Paul, you were in that 2002 game,
Yeah.
obviously on Hurricanes bench that night. Just how much do you remember that taken out of the team? Obviously, you probably said the same things. One game, we can get it back,
Yeah.
we can recover, but how much did it take out of the
I think like completely different situations in that we had been swinging above our weight class for, 7 weeks. And that 2002 Detroit team is still the best team I've ever seen. And so you win in the first game, won in overtime. The second game's a tight one. You got a lead with, I think, 1:24 on the clock on that face-off. And I think that just broke us because the series was kind of over. We didn't look the same after that. I think this will be truly one game. Like, we both had 5 and 6 days off. That was a hard game, but we're not coming off a 7-game series. If that was game 1 of our Toronto series and we had lost, I'd have thought, we might be in trouble. We played game 7, but these guys, they're all so fit. Yeah, both teams are going to be a little tired. There'll be a little fatigue built into the series now every second day, but because I think they had 6 days off, we had 5 days off. There's the emotional. Neither team has had to go to the well so many times that loss will break them or make us almost complacent thinking this is going to be easy. I think that one's easy to package and put away.
We'll take 2 more questions. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, I'm not leaving without answering your question. You've had your arm up 9 times.
Okay, no worries. When it comes to the early overtime goal being overturned, what was going through your mind at that point in time? And
Profanity.
Did that have any impact in terms of the morale?
But it didn't. So the answer is you would see it. There's nothing special that you can stay behind the bench. I mean, that was a really difficult situation, not so much to manage, but to overcome. Because there is, with the 5 and 6 days off, you get time to get wound up, right? And then the game becomes, I felt in game 1 of the Toronto series, we were just playing, like this one, there's a lot of emotion, right? So you get the overtime winner celebration release. Everybody's berserk, and this is the greatest thing ever. Oh, just kidding. So now that's all players. That at that point, I don't think the coach has anything smart to say, and I was really impressed that we just went back to work, that we didn't, we hadn't lost our composure in a situation you easily could have. It was a statement of our group. There's little things that you build on, like Game 6 of the Boston series. We have the lead, we lose the lead. We tie the game, we lose the lead. But it didn't really change our bench, right? So we've had a few of those moments in there where you kind of get tested and you go, all right, let's just go back to work.
Last question. Go ahead, Sean.
It's going to be the best one.
Oh, sweet.
You're going to like talking about this.
I'm not sure about that yet.
You're deep in overtime. We talk about the players. We talk about how smart the coaches are.
No, I never said that.
There's some men and women or whoever it is working in the back, your trainers, your equipment guys, taking care of your players, on the road, small room, none of the stuff
Right.
that the home team has. Can you talk a little bit about that challenge and also maybe the one image that stands in your head from walking in that locker room in the 3rd and 4th overtime of just seeing the physical sacrifice that's being made, like the one image that'll kind of stay with you?
So in part to that, we'll talk about the trainers a little bit, and so trainers, there's medical, there's equipment, there's team performance guys, and that's a big number of people, and Addie and everybody else, right? All the people that are the support staff. I really believe, and I'm sure all 4 teams would say this, but that they feel truly connected to our group. There's no separation there. So everybody gets a hug right after that game. Everybody feels like they're a part of the picture I have in my head, overtime, Game 6 in Toronto. Cousins scores a goal, for whatever reason, I turned to Savannah Lefebvre, and we're jumping up and down a hug, and I turn, and there's a pyramid of trainers on the bench. It's not like they are climbing on each other. It's like Anderson's at the very top of it. He said he thought he got choked out. Like it's a fun group to be around. I think there's a real good connection there between all of us. So I think sometimes maybe the support staff, if you want to call them that, don't feel as connected to it, but I hear it is, right? They're all good people. We have a lot of fun. I think, but at the end of that, it's all driven by the players. So the first week that Matthew Tkachuk's in town, he takes all the trainers out for dinner. And the way our players treat our support staff, coaches included, right? Everybody in a suit at the game. They make it fun to be around. They're a fun bunch of guys. I don't know if you guys, I told you that. Did you guys see Sam Bennett coming across the ice there last night in between periods, in between overtimes? We come back out on the bench, and his blade came out, and I'm looking, and he goes down in the middle of the ice. And I'm like, what happened to him? And Tkachuk and Lomberg drag him from the middle of the ice to the bench. Lomberg's got his arm up. He's looking for a penalty from the referee. We're laughing our asses off. Like that's the kind of, they are able to be in the moment and have a little bit of fun. Okay, everybody. We'll see you.